Maybe I'm just lucky. Maybe my expectations are just not that high anymore. But I really did enjoy Wish. I don't think it's a great film. I think it's a wonderful film. I really did enjoy it, and I really think people are a little too harsh. Because here's the thing. When they announced the songwriters for this film, I kind of had an idea what was going to happen anyway, at least music-wise. And yeah, it's not bad. It's not terrible. It's not the worst Disney song I have ever heard, that's for sure. It's not the worst song I ever heard either. They're really good songs. They don't quite hit the mark like how we were really hoping for. And I find it strange that they hired songwriters of all people, because if you're gonna do Disney 100th anniversary movie, you ought to get someone. If you want something like, maybe some Scold and Pop, at least go with Phil Collins. That guy knows what he's doing. He's proven himself with Tarzan and Brother Bear. So I really don't know why they didn't go for him if they wanted something like that. Or just find someone like Alan Menken. I don't really know what they were thinking, especially after the debacle with Turning Red and having pop singers write songs for the thing, and it was just absolutely just forgettable. And then we got the writer's strike, and that absolutely came into play. And for those who may or may not know, but like the drama with and utter frustration and well-deserved frustration with the CEO and the producers and head bosses at Walt Disney Studios has long been questioned. It's so strange. And then personally, I find it unfortunate because the Disney Renaissance was ripe for the reasons that hiring people like Alan Menken and the writers they had, because it had just, Broadway had a hit after hit in the 80s, 70s, and 8 through the 80s, and they came back a little in the early 2000s, and that was just great, and having talents come in and create music for the Disney Renaissance was fantastic, but that era is gone. Look at the people running shows now. We're of a different breed. Like, I go to like a liberal arts school, and often I see, people passionate, but they're of a different time. Like often I see artists and themes running through like Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, maybe even, and barely. I mean, I'm new. I'm still a little new to the school, so maybe I've yet to meet people with that same charm and love for like what Disney brings and gives us. But it's just a different time, and so getting new blood is a bit of a risky move, especially in such a woke culture in the West. So I'm not like thinking of that in hindsight. It's really not that surprising now if you really think about it, and having trouble finding such good fit talents for certain projects. It's a hard business. I can see why they're probably struggling, but at the same time, they could do better. So I think for me, it's because hearing early on who was directing. Now the directors were fine, but again, writer's strike and limited and how the business is handled now, it's like immediately I was kind of like, okay, if I enjoy myself, I'm more than happy. I'm not looking for much right now. I just needed to enjoy something magical, feel something, and I did. I really did enjoy it. I don't think it's the greatest film. I don't think it's top notch, but I do think it's fine. I really did enjoy it. I really do. I really do. I really did. I really do enjoy this film, and I really think people really ought to just see this film for themselves and make their own critiques about it, make their own judgment, because again, this film really isn't for everyone. I mean, for Disney nerds who love Easter eggs and just are absolutely nuts for Disney, I mean, I think they're going to enjoy this film. But if that's not your world, like if you're not like a big Disney nut and you're into other things and Disney's just, that's a cool thing I like about it, but I'm really more into like say DreamWorks, or I'm more into this or that, I really think then yeah, this movie isn't going to speak to you on many levels. So that's fair. So I really do think the writing took the hardest hit, or lack thereof, or like barely stumbling, getting up to the batter's plate, because it was more or less done in the show, like animation, rather than the writing. And I feel bad. And also, slight suggestion, I would have given the villain a villain song similar, or just replaced it with a song like At All Costs, because that fits so much nicely into the voice actor who played King Magnifico. He has a great voice, but I think it would have been interesting to get a melodic villain song, only to boil into such, like a deep, dark, mysteriousness to coincide with the dark elements. I think that would have been something more fascinating. But that's just me nitpicking, because again, this wasn't made by musical enthusiasts. This was made by pop singers, like pop artists. And there's nothing wrong with pop, but it's just, I don't know what people were really expecting when they heard this. I'm like, well, yeah, this is what we got. I also don't really understand why people are surprised when I don't really know what to say other than that. It's just anyway, although I really do dislike how, Asha's such a sweet character, but I think the problem is, if they had just handled they clearly did not learn their lesson from Raya and the Last Dragon. I don't know why they gave us so many characters. I really don't see the point, other than, ooh, look at that. I think that was a little bit of a misjudgment there. I would have just focused more on Asha and her family, or maybe just Asha and her journey and how and all that, than worry about other stuff and how to fit so much into the plot. It's a little it was really quality over quantity. Quantity over quality kind of stuff thing, and I really don't want to be judgmental on another, and throw into the pile review, because I really don't think this was a bad movie. I really don't. It's a good movie. It was a good movie. Okay, I really liked it. It's just not everyone's cup of tea, and just not what everyone was expecting, and also not what everyone was asking for, because we really want that magic again, but at the same time, we're all adults, and we're going through our time, and unfortunately, Disney clearly does need to take in consideration of what all the complaints are, but at the same time, seeing the trailers and then, seeing who's on board, I just kind of figured early on, I'm like, okay, I'm not really having my hopes that high. I'm just going to watch this film because I just want to watch the film and see what they've done. And I think that just made this movie so much easier and more enjoyable, because I came in just looking to watch the film, not looking to watch something that I expect out of Disney. So, yeah.